Hello, my lovely, lovely Cappies. Are you surviving, Capricorn? Are you okay? Um, are you okay, Capricorn? Really? Do you need a cup of coffee to warm you up? Because the stuff I'm getting, I'm worried about doing your reading, quite frankly. I'm worried about you, Capricorn, again. Um, Cappies have been going through it, like going through it. And there's this kind of, oh, there's this doom and gloom or like deep spiritual stuff going on as I'm tuning into your energy. It explains a lot. I've been looking up what the positions of the planets and tracking them a little bit. And Pluto's in your sign at the moment. So Pluto, it's the god of the underworld. It's Hades. He's, all about death and endings. I don't know if you're feeling a little bit like you're having a little existential crisis, maybe, Capricorn. Does that sound about right? If not, maybe this isn't your reading. I mean, I don't know. Don't worry about the introduction. When we start to pull cards, it may feel more relevant if this doesn't feel relevant at this time. It could be that I've been getting for a while that some of you have been dealing with somebody who has been passing away, or the death of someone and the grief and the emotions that come with that, the darkness that comes with somebody exiting your life, what that means to you, what that person meant to you, and, where does this leave you now, all that kind of thing. So some of you, we don't talk about these things enough as well. I think a lot of tarot card readers shy away from talking about death, and, going through it myself, and it does help to talk about it. And I think we should be more open about talking about endings and these kind of things, and grief. So if that is you, then in it together, right? Hug. Which, I mean, it's something we all face at some point in our lives. Like, it just is. So it's silly that we don't talk about it. Pluto, god of the underworld. Pluto is also a planet. Yes, I consider it a planet because I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to offend that specific god by downgrading them to a dwarf. That is not going to happen. So the planet Pluto is scorpionic energy. It craves deep, meaningful experiences. You may really be craving deeper, more meaningful relationships and experiences in your life right now. Surface level stuff is not going to do it. You may be more drawn to things like tarot readings, spirituality, religion. You may be questioning all these things. Pluto is a planet about investigation and taking a deep dive. So whatever is impacting you right now, you're asking some big questions about it. Do watch out for a Tell Me Anything reading. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but there was it was about somebody who'd gained some kind of deep knowledge, like deep spiritual understanding, and that could be relevant to you. It will have already gone up by the time you get this reading. As I started to tune into your energy, I got goosebumps all up my arms. Like I just went really cold, really cold, all goosebumps up my arms. They say, don't they, like someone walked across your grave. It was that kind of feeling, like just cold goosebumps. The song that you got when I randomized a song for you was Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. So it's almost, I'm getting almost this thing about, somebody losing someone and thinking, how do I bring them back to life? It's that kind of energy, which interesting reading we're going to have here, Capricorn. But also the lyrics of that song, how can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading me down to my core where I've become so numb. It does feel like your experience. I've been getting this like deep dark cave business for you for the longest time. I was really happy when I had that reading where it was like the water was coming back into the cave. It had been like dripping in over time, where you'd been cold, you'd been frozen, you'd been numb. So it was coming to me as this thawing out energy. And then there was all these like crystals lining the cave of your heart. It was like your heart was coming back to life after going through trauma or shock, or it doesn't have to even be a death. It could just be something major in your life, a major reassessment, or I don't know, midlife crisis, that kind of energy of just completely reassessing everything. And so I do feel a little bit like that song you're talking to me. It's like, well, how does this work? How do you read me like this? It's got that kind of energy to it. But it could also be because Pluto's in your chart at the moment, Sagittarius, and I called you Scorpio then. It could be that people are feeling this way to you. It's like, Capricorn, bring me back to life. You can be the nurturer, that kind of like motherly Queen of Pentacles or fatherly figure of the nurturer, the provider, the person who can probably bring something back to life. I'm getting this image of like somebody finding a bird in the snow. Okay, weird side message coming in, but I'm going to come back to it. Like a bird in the snow, and then like putting it in a little box and bringing it back to life, nurturing it, keeping it warm, feeding it, that kind of scenario. I don't know if you've ever done that. So whether this song is to you or about you, I'm not quite sure. But I feel like you are reanimating. It feels very spooky. Maybe it's just Halloween stuff. I don't know. Forgive me, Capricorn, for the way that it's coming through for you today. Frozen in time, without your love, without your touch. Yeah, that's how it's felt for you. But the interesting thing is that I was shown for you, I feel like it was for you, Capricorn, your heart was no longer a cold, dark cave, a cold, frozen, dark cave, right? We know it filled up with water at some point. The emotions came back in. I was seeing, now when I had that kind of dream, that vision where the water was in the cave and it was sparkling, and the whole walls of the cave were suddenly like alive and sparkling again. It was like the cave wall was like full of crystals. Now it's coming through like those crystals have grown and your heart is now a geode. I want to say your heart's a geode. It's like a pinky purple, mostly crystals, and it's beautiful. So it's sort of like it's almost like the inverse of the Libra heart. The Libra diamond heart, right, is like one big diamond. You can see through it. This is like a cave full of beautiful crystals and diamonds. So or whatever, amethyst or something. But it's very, very beautiful. I wish I could project the image in my mind into you, because I think you're underestimating yourself a little bit, Caps. So yeah, goosebumps, feeling cold, bring me back to life. Get some coffee, Cappy. Which reminds me, there's another tarot card reader, and they've started saying coffee with Cappy, and I was like, that's my thing. That's my thing. I have coffee with Cappy. I'm jealous, Huffy. No, she's a lovely reader, so no hate. But it's just like, oh, that's my thing, and now she's doing it. I also saw a deer, just a deer like Bambi, right? And a cardboard box, like a moving box or something, just a plain cardboard box, but it had "Catch Me" written on the side. Kind of gave me Catch Me If You Can, that film with not Denzel Washington. Why is Denzel Washington in my head? That film with Leonardo DiCaprio, and very different characters, right? And yeah, but it's also with the bird in the box and you're bringing it back to life, and what's in the box. I'm kind of getting the end of 7, which is a much more creepy energy coming through in your reading today. What is with the creepy energy right now, Capricorn? What is that? What is that about? I don't know. Right, let's coffee with Cappy. So for Thursday, Cappy, I want you to be happy. What is going on for you right now? Goosebumps and a geode heart. Come on, Capricorn. Desert Storm. That's I want to say that's a book by, is it like Andy McNab or somebody? It's like a SAS or an army guy. Desert Storm. It was like an operation, wasn't it? I don't remember the details of it. I don't know what the operation was, but that's what I've immediately got through. Maybe you're interested in, I don't know, military strategy and espionage and that kind of stuff. I don't know. But yeah, if you've been going through a dry spell, Cappy, it looks like it's coming to an end, and it's coming to an end in a big way. You've got 13 and 23, so 10 difference there, which breaks down to a 4 and a 5. 4, it's kind of giving me 4 of Cups energy of I'm over it, I don't want relationships anymore, I'm better off alone, with solitariness. I'm better off alone, not interested anymore. but maybe holding out hope, you know, a secret bit of yourself holding out hope with the 3 little birds outside your window there on that card. But then the cleansing, the storm. So it does feel a bit like a tower moment or a release of emotion, but it's going to water the lands, right? Things are going to grow again after some sort of release. Yeah, look at that. Look at the progression, marine life, and that's 32. Okay, so you've got a mirror number there, 23, 32. Watch out for mirror numbers. Yeah, there's depth here. There's the water's coming in, the emotions are coming back. So if you felt a bit cold, a bit maybe even emotionally broken, you know, like when you go through some kind of trauma, maybe PTSD or something for somebody, you know, something that is emotionally very difficult, there is this tendency to bottle things up or even shut down, like emotionally numb. And yeah, it can be like, I know I should be feeling things, but I'm not feeling anything. Am I broken? It's that kind of energy. I want to say no. I want to say the floodgates are going to open in a big way here. But it's going to feel like a tower moment. There's a rush here of water, but it's taking you to a richer life. I want to say a more vibrant, richer life with a lot of depth. So cats, that's nice for you. Getting Fix You by Coldplay. I will try to fix you. Coldplay. When you try your best and you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you're so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, lights will guide you home. It's funny because you had that, I'm never going to forget that reading, that you were down in the depths of the underworld trying to find, you know, like Orpheus trying to find his lost love, and you know, maybe you have lost somebody who you care deeply about, you know, you want them back, you're angry that this person's been taken from you. So it's down there, or even like just in the depths of your own soul, doing that deep soul searching that comes with Platonic energy, being in your chart for so long, you know, really doing a lot of shadow work. But it's like somebody found you, you know, how can you see into my eyes, leading you down into my core where I've become so numb. So you were almost comfortable in that. It could be almost comfortable in your depression, comfortable in your solitariness, you know, comfortable in your blackness, your coldness. But there was this firefly reading where it's like this light came down, somebody found you, somebody came in after you and tried to lead you back out. Some stubbornness there, I think. Ritual Bison. This card talks about two people, I think it was Native Americans who were out hunting one day. They were hunting bison and they saw this woman in a white dress, and one of them was like, oh, I'm going to go and try my luck here. And basically the woman was a goddess, and he offended her and she turned him into like dust, smoke, poof, gone. The second person, who was more respectful, who said, no, I can see the divinity in this person. They, you know, we should treat them respectfully. He was rewarded with his kind of tribe had a lot of abundance and richness because he was respectful. He was rewarded from the heavens. So pay attention to your rituals. Perhaps you need to do some sort of cleansing ritual to release feelings or release emotions, to allow the emotions to flow. Look at all this water, sea turtle stability. You could see emotions as a threat to your stability at this time. There could be something again with children here as well. It's funny, this armadillo and the sea turtle. The armadillo, I think, came out for Libra, and I was saying it was like a turtle, like armor. This small child's being carried by the sea turtle, I'm noticing here, and there's this other little boy swimming with the turtles. These little ones all hatching out the eggs. I've never really paid attention to those before. Can you see them? Like this one here in particular is like really cute and happy. Yeah, so what is she holding in her hand there? She's actually using like a hatching turtle as a as a pillow there. So could be moving home, could be children involved, could be moving to water. I got the other day that somebody could be moving to like a lake, you know, or a big body of water where the children can go in the water. Just be really, really careful. You know, obviously children and water can be a bit of a dangerous combination. So you want to make sure that, you know, safety precautions, you know, keep an eye on them. So, but emotions, water symbolizes emotions. So I do feel like, you know, there's a lot of emotional richness, and it's going to come as a bit of a shock, I think, when the floodgates open. And I think there's a fear for you of allowing the floodgates to open, because perhaps you do see emotions or expressing emotions or having emotions as a threat to your stability, especially if you've been through something really traumatic or really that's kind of rocked your world. And you've had to adjust, you've had to find that stability again after perhaps a tower moment in the past. I think you are finding some emotional stability here. Yeah. Cats, I do worry about you. It's like I just get the same messages for some signs all the time. Like Libra is like, just wait. It's like they are Sleeping Beauty, like, or, you know, just be patient, just wait, you know. And it's funny I'm talking about Sleeping Beauty, because I think there's something like that in the Bring Me to Life song, Frozen in Time without your love. So I don't know if this is you or somebody else, like you've emotionally shut down, and, you know, somebody else is left lonely thinking, well, where did my Cappy go? Where did all that love and nurturing and stability go? Like, I feel like, you know, this has been robbed from me, is how it's coming through. Where, you know, it's almost like there's this frozen energy of like Sleeping Beauty, who, you know, or Snow White even, frozen in time, waiting for Cappy to come back. It kind of came through in Aquarius's reading as well last week, that kind of thing. Darkness, hello darkness, my old friend, I come to talk to you again. And discernment, 10 and 40. There is something about opening up. You can see how there's peace and stability, right? Tranquility. It's almost like this is you know, the heart space opening up, or having happiness in the heart again, perhaps, like with the golden light, like allowing the light to penetrate your heart. But who are you going to let in? Who can you trust? I feel like I've just done Scorpio's reading. I feel like they had something like this, and it's almost like then it opens, it gets bigger, like this. Perhaps you worry about being stampeded. It's like if you open up, you don't want a rush of people coming towards you. So you're being very defensive. You know, with a geode, it's all kept inside. It's beautiful, but it's all kept inside. You know, to the surface, it's like hard as rock, right? Nothing special about it. Where I think there's a lot going on internally for you, and it could be about riches as well. It may not necessarily be about emotions. It could be Pluto is the god of ores and metals and gems and crystals. Interestingly enough, I'm going to pull you a crystal at the end of the reading if you're interested in getting yourself a crystal. So stick around for that if that interests you. But it could be about your stability in terms of being quite secretive about the moves you're making in business, or what you're doing with your money, or your finances or something. It's like your riches, you're keeping it to yourself. It could be that you are quite wealthy, or and you want to keep it a secret. You know, you don't want people who just want you for your money, that kind of thing. Perhaps for some of you, really interested in all this water energy. I'm going to read the desert first, I think. It's funny, you've got desert and darkness on either end. It's like the sun and the moon. Kind of giving me like Watership Down as well, this. The rabbit on it. Okay. 13. There is a difference between being alone or solitary. Libra had this. There's a difference between alone or solitary and being lonely. because they have the song, oh, if you're lonely, why did you say you're not lonely? You're a silly girl. So I don't know if that's a connection there. There's a difference between alone or solitary and being lonely. Feeling confident to spend time alone is powerful. You do not need so much work. You do not need so much. Work on developing simplicity. There is more to life than accumulating objects. You can be resilient and adapt to difficult circumstances. So tell me about, I feel like this is something you had to do. You were pushed into this, pushed into adjusting to being single, adjusting to being alone. Now, you could be in a relationship, you could be in a room full of people, but if you can't connect to them, and especially if you're looking for connections on that deep platonic or scorpionic level, you're going to have difficulty connecting with people who are operating on a more surface, how's the weather today? You can't have those kind of, how's the weather today? How are the kids? You know, what did they eat last night? Those kind of conversations aren't going to do it if Pluto's in your sign. You need the deep existential mean things. So there's your cave. Feel like that's you getting really stable, being good on your own, finding security. You may be the Emperor in Sagittarius's reading. There was this person who was wanting to get the upper hand and being quite competitive. I feel like there is movement on from that, or this has gained some sort of success for you. This is somebody who's very invested in the finances, in the practical things. The King of Earth accumulates. This is talking about accumulating things. Normally, the King of Earth is partnered. The Nine of Fire here is the Wounded Warrior energy. So what I'm getting is, at some point, Capricorn, if this is you or for somebody else, this person felt very, very trapped. They were trapped in their own head. This leads to the Wounded Warrior energy of perhaps putting the boundaries up, feeling very alone in whatever you were doing, feeling like you had to fight for something or compete for something. But in that solitude, in that loneliness, where you felt this kind of... the Nine of Fire is a card where you're really going through something. It's a tough battle, and you have to keep on picking yourself back up. So you may have felt like giving up a lot of times on whatever this was, but you didn't. You kept going. You're still here. So you pat yourself on the back for that. Sometimes just surviving is a good day. So you survived, and you've been holding on to your hopes and your dreams and your wishes in that darkness. Again, the light in the shadows, right? The light in the cave. The Five of Fire is competitiveness, or even literal fighting, arguing, but it also is like drive, the need to win, the need to come out on top. So you may have been very, very driven. Again, you may have been quite alone in what you were trying to achieve here, but you are running into success here with the Six of Fire. So it could be that you did have to do something alone. You had to get out of your own mental prison, perhaps. Something like that. Okay, I want to know about darkness. 40, because it's like all the actions in the middle. This is like the, you know, deserts get very cold at night. 40, there's a connection there between those two end cards. You are entering a time of introversion, a leaner time, or a time to turn inwards to plan and strategize. It is time to do shadow work, which will bring big dividends later on. Release what no longer works for you. The darkness needs to be there as much as does the light. One of the earliest human fears is said to be fear of the dark. We fear what we can't see. We fear what may be hiding. In reality, the dark is as important as the light. In nature, it's yin and yang, right? In nature, there are many nocturnal animals that go about their business of living under the moon, not the sun. I said you could be very secretive. Pluto's a secretive energy. Plan for the light. Look closely at ourselves and plan for the light. So yeah, you're doing that deep shadow work, right? I mean, when Pluto's in your sign, that's you being supported to do that. You had Saturn in your sign for a long time. These are the big slow moving planets, so they bring big life changes. Saturn, you're actually ruled by Saturn, but it is kind of tough love energy. It teaches you really hard life lessons. So over the past few years, you've been dealing with those hard life lessons and having to make those adjustments that come along with Saturn being in your sign. And now that Saturn's left, it's in Aquarius, poor Aquarius, and now Pluto's in your sign. It's almost like Saturn made you go through it, and now Pluto is the deep understanding of those lessons. It's like, why did I go through it? What did this teach me? What do I need to change about myself? All those kind of questions. So Pluto is here to help you. I want to say, again, you know, a misunderstanding of the god, Hades Pluto. Once we see these aspects of ourselves in the dark, we can simply decide whether they must go. We can decide to release them once and for all. We get to transform. It says actually a companion stone or metal onyx, so that could be helpful to you as well. Tell me about the darkness for Capricorn. Tell me about the darkness for Capricorn. What is Capricorn doing down in the darkness? What are they finding there? Yeah, you're finding your deep emotions. You're finding this. You're finding who you are and what you care about, what makes you feel things. You know, where are those deeper emotions? It is Scorpionic energy. Again, Scorpio's ruled by Pluto. And the Ten of Fire. So the burning of old contracts. I feel like you could be releasing karma at this time. It could be ancestral karma. The Ten of Fire is heavy burdens, but the opportunity to put those burdens down. So I think you're doing deep soul searching, deep soul searching here, looking into your shadow side, assessing all the people, all the events in your life. Why did that happen to me? What did that teach me? Why did I go through that? Why did the universe do that to me? You may have gone through a period of really questioning. If you perhaps were raised with a certain religious tradition, you may have really questioned that in this time. You may have really gone through a phase of God doesn't exist, the universe is cruel to me. What did I do to deserve all this? If you're going with the typical tarot tradition, the Akashic traditions and things like this that are often talked about in these kind of readings, we agree to everything before we're even born because we know that our soul has to learn those lessons. So there's an acceptance there. There's an acceptance of these terrible things happened to me. It wasn't fair. But then it's like, why did that happen to me? What did I learn from that? How do I stop these things happening again? What does this teach me about my own soul and who I am as a person? So I want to say this King of Water here shows me that you are finding some kind of deep love for the self. You could also be going into the darkness if you have lost a loved one. It could be some kind of father figure, and there's perhaps things that were left unsaid, things that you had to square away in relation to that relationship in your life. You know, things that you wish you'd done, things that you wish you hadn't said, and maybe having those conversations with that ancestor in order to release the things that you need to release, to close that cycle. But this, yeah, could definitely be a deep love for yourself before you're ready to get into any kind of relationship again. I'm just checking the time, just I don't want to run out of space on my phone or battery. Ten of A, yeah, definitely. Could have felt stabbed in the back, or you could have felt betrayed at one sort of point, but there's an ending that there's no coming back from, I want to say there. Okay, let's get to the storm. Let's go discernment and then we'll go storms. Because what is discernment? You could be getting more discerning. Perhaps it's coming in with this energy of perhaps you let a lot of people into your life at one point. You know, you welcome people with open arms, and perhaps some of your friends did betray you. Perhaps some people weren't there for you when you needed them. Perhaps you realised some people really were only around you because of what they could get from you. And it hurt, I want to say. It really hurt. It made you question who you were as a person. It made you question, did you have any worth beyond perhaps the material things? I'm channeling now, by the way, so if this isn't your thing, I could just be channeling for like one person, but you... they've given me, how can you see through my eyes like open doors? I'm sorry, I'm just telling you what they're giving me, whoever they are, right? The universe, spirit guides, your own ancestors, whatever, whoever's giving me the messages. So, so yeah, you've learned some lessons here. You've learned some lessons about being more discerning in regards to the relationships in your life. You're like, I would rather be alone than have people around me who are going to backstab me. I would rather be alone than have false friends. I only want deep, meaningful relationships in my life. So you could have been the sort of person who had a very full social calendar, you know, a lot of contacts in your phone, and perhaps they didn't call you back when you needed them to. They're giving me, and they never call you back. Is it aeroplanes? Aeroplanes, shooting stars in the night sky. I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. So it's almost like now if you're gonna be around these people, you're gonna be around them on your terms. You know, you're gonna have your boundaries up. You know, you're gonna perhaps have a very professional relationship with certain people, where the only people who you're going to get like close to you are people who really matter to you, who you really care about deeply, and who you have that deep soul bond with. No more shallow relationships for you. You're not wasting your time on shallow people or shallow things. You want the depth. Yeah, so very, very discerning about who you open the door to. Take care in your choices now. Look carefully and judge wisely. There may have been something difficult to see, something that had been obscured, but now it has been revealed to you. Examine it closely. I take my time to be accurate and precise in my discernment. Very, very Platonic energy. Tell me about discernment for Capricorn. I'm seeing the Seven of Cups. I don't think that's what it is. No, Ten of Earth. Who are you going to share your wealth with? Who are you going to share your home with? Who are you going to share your abundance and prosperity with? And she is actually alone here. She's got a wolf by her side. But yeah, very, very wary. I think you've been taken. Your kind nature has been taken advantage of. You've been hurt. You've been betrayed by somebody who I think you really trusted, and it really, really hurt. Yeah, sorry, Caps. Saying sorry like it was me. I hope it wasn't me. Thinking about the Capricorns now, like, what did I do to the Capricorns? No. Yeah, people are going to be sorry. They're going to be sorry that you've shut the door on them, I think, because Capricorn's a very generous energy, but you don't want to be taken advantage of. Sometimes you need to raise a lot of energy to blow away what you no longer need. An issue will come to a dramatic head. Cleanse your body, let go of what you feel you no longer need. Be specific in your release, harm as little as you can. Tempestus, Latin for storm. I understand now. You had a reading a while back, didn't you, with the Justice card and the light and the dark. Who can you trust, who can you not trust, who's wearing a mask? The angel's actually a devil, the devil's actually an angel, all that kind of stuff. I think you've been testing. It came out for somebody. It came out in your last reading. It was a Capricorn reading where I can't remember the specific song, but the meaning of it was it was a Mariah Carey song, and it was like I'm gonna let you go, I'm gonna let you chase your dreams and your wishes, and it was coming through this energy of like what happens when you say no, Capricorn? What happens when you pull back, when you stop giving people money, when you stop giving people your time, when you stop paying attention to people? How do they retaliate? Do you have people who get jealous or resentful or bitter? Do they try and backstab you because you've pulled back? Or do they say, Capricorn, I love you, I want what's best for you. If it's good for you to be alone right now, then yeah, I respect that. That's your healing. You know, I'm going to miss you. It hurts that you're gone, but you know, whatever you need to do, you know, Cappy, I want you to be happy. You do what you need to do. I've got your back. That kind of energy. So yeah, you've done it. I get what you're doing now. I understand. Okay. Discernment. Did I ask about discernment? I did ask about discernment. Transformation, look at that. That's death and rebirth. Transforming your life, transforming your inbox, transforming you. They just show me like, you know, when you scroll through your contacts, they show me that. Yeah, you pulled back. You really, really did. But it's like, it feels like you've got people's number now. Like, not literally like you've got the number. Maybe you have. Maybe you've got somebody's phone number. But it's like you've got their, you know what they're about. You know, you understand their character. You understand exactly what the motivations are. Yeah, I'm going to put up that reading. You'll have already seen it by the time, you know, assuming that you've watched it. The reading will have already gone up by the time your reading goes up. But yeah, interesting reading there. I did wonder if it was Capricorn, and I feel like it was. Have you been up a mountain? Capricorn, have you been up a mountain? Did you get a bit cold? Not rhinoceros, looking in the wrong book. Marine life and richness. Also though, understanding that sorry, that my foot's squeaking on the chair. Understanding that, you know, the planets moving around our chart will affect us in different ways. Understanding that when Pluto is in our chart, we're going to want in our sign, we're going to want those deep, meaningful relationships, and that's going to last a few years, well, until Pluto shifts. So understanding that that's what you need at this time, because and when Pluto goes out of your sign, perhaps you're going to feel a lot lighter, you know, depending, you know, perhaps Venus and Mars are going to come into your sign next and you're going to have some sexy times. I don't know. You know, but whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, it's part of the process, it's part of the learning, it's part of the experience. Accepting that and understanding what is happening is part of the challenge. I think it's part of the game of life, if you want to say that. That came through for Taurus once, the game of life. And I think you are going to be a bit more discerning about playing the game of life. I think you're still going to play it, you know, you're still going to go for your fame and fortune and your ambitions and, you know, whatever it is that you want to go for, but you're going to do it in a much more calculated way, which is a little bit jaded, but it's also you having strong boundaries and knowing your worth. You gave your time and affection away too easily before, I think, Caps. And also about being taken advantage of, you know, caring about what other people think, caring about other people's opinions. Now I think you're going to put your own opinions and your own needs first, which is really healthy. You know, good for you. Good for you, Capricorn. Just don't miss out on opportunities because you're scared of repeating cycles, I want to say. You know, just, it's good to be discerning, but you don't want to take so long deciding that other people think that, well, Capricorn doesn't care about me, you know, things like that, and they move on. You know, you might find that you miss an opportunity because you took too long in the discerning process. I don't know. Fertility is yours. Your wishes will be granted. It's hard holding on to a Cappy, you know, if they're going solo. Fertility is yours. Your wishes will be granted. There is, because you have a lot of worth, a lot of value, you know, to people. You're blessed if you've got a Cappy who cares about you. So, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. Fertility is yours. Your wishes will be granted. There is more than one way to find a solution to a problem. Adapt to the new. Opulentium, richness. Fertility is yours. I was thinking about something I read once about which signs work well together. And just remember, we're a whole birth chart, so it goes much deeper than that surface star sign, right? You've got things like your Mars and your Venus and your Mercury that talk about how you relate to other people. But I remember once reading a kind of a surface level thing about which signs are compatible and which signs aren't. And I remember, I'm a Libra, and I remember Capricorn, it was like, no, Capricorns are always going to break your heart because they're so career focused and they're so, like, they're not big talkers. You know, a little bit abrupt, a little bit brusque. So it's like Libra, Capricorns are gonna just break your heart all the time. So just be careful, Cappy. Make sure you show that softer nature to the people who you do care deeply about. Operating from a stable base is advantageous. If you need help and guidance, ask for it. As you are loved and supported, delve deeply into the study of something rather than just skimming the surface. Do not push hard for what you want all the time. Instead, set an intention or direction and steadily flow towards this. Not every journey needs to be a difficult one full of drama. So it talks about a tortoise, a turtle, sea turtle called Kawila in this pond, and it says, soon human children discovered the pond. Kawila allowed them to ride upon her back if they were fatigued, and sometimes she would transform herself into a beautiful young girl so she could play with them. When the children visited and they noticed the bubbles popping up from below, they knew Kawila was there in the pool with them, making sure they were safe. My video cut out. I've got 16 minutes left. Sea turtle magic flows to us with stability and resilience. When you want something to come to fruition but do not want to have to push very hard for it, as you perhaps have habitually done, ride the wave of sea turtle magic with ease and surety. Sea turtles travel long distances, and yet they follow the currents and hitch a ride. You too can do this energetically and refuse to be pressured. So you had that. It was like somebody was pressurizing you to make a choice, right? Do you want option A or option B? And you were like, do you know what? I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to go. I'm not going to choose. I think your last reading was not choosing as a choice to cowboy. It's funny that I called you cowboy because was it you? Was it a Capricorn reading? Or was it the cowboy reading? I don't know. I'm not sure now. And now I'm doubting myself. But there's something else coming through as well about memory. I've been watching this thing on Netflix about how your brain works, and I watched the episode on memory and how we construct memory and how we use memory to envision the future. So definitely worth checking out if you want to watch that. I don't know what the title of the program's called, but it's something about like how the mind works on Netflix. Really interesting, and how our memory can be corrupted so easily, and we can have false memories and things like this. So that could be something that's helpful for you as well. I can't remember what I was saying now. I've gone off on a tangent about being pressured, right? What was I going to say? What was I being drawn to? Yes, if you're being pressured to make a decision, then what are the motives of the person pressurizing you? I can't remember what else I was going to say there. It's gone. Oh, I remember now. It made me laugh. I was following this astrology, astro poets, I think they're called, on Twitter today, and I saw that they make fun of all the different signs, and it makes me laugh. Sometimes they do really funny ones. And there was one that was like something about Capricorns wearing cowboy hats, and all the replies were all these Capricorns going like, yeah, I do look good in a cowboy hat. It just made me laugh. It was funny. Sometimes you need to accept someone else's more stable helping hand so that you can rest a little. A healthy part of the lesson of the turtles. It's funny how things, like I get things in readings and then they show up in real life, and you know, seeing those signs and synchronicities, like seeing the patterns, it's really interesting how it happens. Okay, advice. Wait for winter. During the colder months, talking about being cold, during the colder months, the fairy queen of winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes, as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. Look in a book. Whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will be the insight you seek. With her nose stuck in a book. She really is a funny girl, that Belle. Okay, advice for Caps. Advice for Capricorn, please. Destiny keeps on coming out, and Lord keeps me, and freedom. Okay. I think this is like is this the Divine Masculine card in this deck? I'm not quite sure. Okay, I'm going to read Destiny first. I don't know why, but I am. Destiny is a mighty dragon of great authority. She has no time for fluffiness, ego, or human dramas, as she puts it. She and her kind have been hidden in the depths of the earth for eons, waiting for us to be ready to take our power back and stand in our individual and collective might. She wants to galvanize us into action so that we stand strong against adversity and, if necessary, fly in the face of authority to challenge systems that are no longer fit for purpose. She says, if you want change, you need to be that change, not wait for others to do it for you. You do not need their permission to live your life your way. I think that's the key thing, Caps. You do not need permission to live your life your way, nor can they absolve you from responsibility. It is your life, your journey, your path. You walk it your way. Absolutely, damn right. Light and fluffy will not create the lasting changes on your planet. Have you ever tried moving a large square flat-bottomed stone uphill? It's near impossible. As humans, you need to come together to work in unison, not isolation. Interesting. Take responsibility for who you are, hold the vision of what you wish to create, and work together with others. We are facing periods of change and at times adversity. We as people of Earth can only achieve a more secure future if we come together and work for the good of all. We can be the change. The time for division has passed. It is time for us to unite, collaborate and work in unison. But I think you're being discerning about who you're collaborating with right now, right? They're telling me something like once burned, twice shy, something like that. When Lord Kuthmi first arrived, he lost no time informing me who he was. I am a dragon elder and spokesdragon for the Galactic Council, he went on to say. If you desire to be able to hold the energies of the 5th to the 7th dimensions, you need to be clear of your earthly woes and fears and your deep need for control. Your light bodies need to be in alignment with those of the Earth and the astrological light matrix. Only then will you become a tool and a tuning device to lift the energy of the planet. As more of you gather to do this work, the greater will be your chance of bringing lasting peace to Earth. So greater good, right? It says the highest good of all, and this is all about like the greater good, bringing peace to Earth, right? Lord Kuthmi went on to explain why the dragons are here collectively. We have come because lasting peace is achievable on Earth. There are other galaxies beyond your human understanding at this time, where it has happened. We dragons are as old as the universe itself and have encountered and witnessed humanity in all its guises through the ages. You are the change. A little bit of responsibility there, Caps, but you're being told do it your way. You know, tread your own path. And doing that comes from a deep, deep inner knowing. I feel like it was a little bit like maybe a Leo reading or a Tell Me Anything reading with like the King and Queen of Wands, where there was this deep knowledge, deep knowledge, and the strength that comes from having that deep knowledge and knowing who you are. It's like when you know who you are and you know what you want, then it doesn't matter what anyone else says. You know, not in a selfish way, not in an ego way, but in a standing firm kind of way, where it's like, I'm open to opinions, I'm open to advice, but if it doesn't fit with what I know to be true internally, then I'm not going to let that sway me. I'm not going to let that put me off. I've got a deep inner knowledge and I'm going to put that into action. It's very, very empowering. It came through with like the Queen of Wands, I think. Okay, let's get a crystal for you, Caps. Honestly, you have the deepest readings. I understand why now if you've got Pluto knocking around in your chart. Of course you do. Okay, so I've got my eyes closed. This is, the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. I'm going to pick you a crystal. So if you're interested in getting a crystal right now, maybe this one will be helpful, maybe not. Use your own discernment. Tourmaline, is it? Red tourmaline specifically. Tourmaline. Black, brown, green, pink, red, yellow, blue, watermelon, blue, green. Easily obtained from specialist stores: Sri Lanka, Brazil, Africa, United States, Western Australia, Afghanistan and Italy. It's funny, like all those actual colours, like black, brown, green, and then watermelon. It's like a random fruit thrown in there. It's funny how things work. Tourmaline cleanses, purifies and transforms dense energy into a lighter vibration. It grounds spiritual energy, clears and balances all the chakras and forms a protective shield around the body. Tourmaline is a shamanic stone that brings protection during rituals. My goodness, are you doing rituals? Make sure you're only putting light and positivity into the world. Don't try to control anyone. Don't mess with anyone else's autonomy at this time. It's bad karma. Blah blah blah. It can be used for scrying. It was traditionally used to point to the culprit or the cause in times of trouble. That's interesting, and indicate a good direction in which to move. Healing tools, good for balancing the chakras. A strong affinity with the Devic energy, so that is those higher realms, and is extremely beneficial in the garden and plants. It's a natural insecticide, keeping pests at bay, encourages growth of crops. Psychologically, tourmaline aids in understanding oneself and others, taking you deep into yourself. What did I say? The crystals always match the reading so well. Taking you deep into yourself, promoting self-confidence and diminishing fear. It banishes any feelings of being a victim and attracts inspiration, compassion, tolerance, and prosperity. It's a mental healer, balancing out the left and right sides of the brain. It also helps things like paranoia, learning to not overcome dyslexia, I'd use a different word, but handling dyslexia. It improves hand-to-eye coordination, the assimilation and translation of coded information. Really, really interesting. Let's look at specifically red tourmaline, because that's what I noticed. Strengthens the ability to understand love, promotes tactfulness and flexibility, sociability and extroversion, balancing too much aggression or over passivity. It heals and energizes the sacral chakra and increases creativity on all levels. The colour offers stamina and endurance. In healing, red tourmaline gives vitality to the physical body and detoxifies. It heals the heart. Do you know what? That's the one that I saw when I opened the page, and bloody hell, is that perfect for you? And maybe you need to get a red tourmaline geode. Is that even a thing? It treats the digestive system, blood vessels, and the reproductive system. It stimulates blood circulation and spleen and liver function, and it repairs veins. It's useful for muscle spasms and chills. Because it got really cold. I love how perfect they always are. You know, how well they match the readings. It says position, place or wear is appropriate. Yeah, cool. So look that up yourself, see what works for you, see what doesn't. You know, ignore it if it's not your thing. But it did seem to match the stuff that's going on in your reading really, really well. What are you doing with this ritual? What's ritual for... Whoa, you've got a lot of rituals apparently. Let's go again, because that's a lot. Can you simplify for me? What's going on with Capricorn and ritual? What is ritual for Capricorn? What's ritual for Capricorn? Strength and fall. So you built something to do with building up your confidence to take a leap of faith towards some kind of passionate new beginning, creative project. This is you being in this darkness, discerning energy where you're keeping things to yourself here. You've got the Queen of Air, so again, it's kind of this discernment energy, seeing things very, very clearly, being very knowledgeable, logical, yeah, having strong boundaries. And then the Three of Water does talk about the community, the people around you, friendship groups. It could also be some kind of meet-up or a get-together. So whatever that means for you, the confidence to take a leap of faith towards something while still having strong boundaries is how that feels. So maybe you've just got some kind of ritual. It could be like even just like saying something to the mirror every morning, or I don't know, maybe it is something a bit more spiritual, some kind of spiritual practice, I'm not sure, but I don't want to pry too deeply. All right, Caps, I hope that was helpful for you. Leave me a like if you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like, leave me a comment if anything particularly resonated. I assume that most of you are coming in as stealth watchers because you are... that Plutonic energy is making you very stealthy, you know, sneaking in and out of readings, right? So I very much respect that. I respect your right to privacy and your right to, you know, you don't have to give me anything for doing these readings. I'm doing them because I feel directed to. So if you've watched it to this point, those watch hours actually really help me out, so that's appreciated. And I just hope that this is helpful to you, and that you... you know, that deep soul searching brings you the confidence and the clarity and the strength that you deserve, especially if you've been through something that's been very hurtful. All right, Cappy, 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 I want you to be happy. Go and get your coffee if you're getting low, and I will meet you on the other side. Do take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.